Welcome to the farm, nice and peaceful here.
Thank you.
My name's Jeremy. I'm doing your fruit tasting for the next hour or so on the deck here, and we'll go for a walk out on a beautiful day. We'll be probably go for a 30-40 minute walk through the orchard. Welcome to the farm. My better half, Merrin's, she's just ducked down behind the back there, but when she pops her head up, that's Merrin. She'll be my back of house sort of help today. And today we're going to try some fruit we grow on the farm. Now, my parents-in-law, Merrin's mum and dad, Dawn and Colin, they started the farm back in the late 70s, and they've done a bit of travel through Asia, and they've been to places like the Philippines. When it's mature, so it's not fully ripe, but it's mature so we can use it, and it's at that stage quite starchy and crunchy, like a potato sort of consistency. And you wouldn't eat a raw potato, well, you wouldn't eat this breadfruit at that stage. You'd eat it cooked like you would cook a potato. Today we've got chips, so please try your chips. The keg kept in the fridge for probably about 2 weeks now. Maybe somewhat familiar. You may not have seen pomelo in the flesh, but maybe most of you have heard of it. So pomelo is the largest citrus in the world, and this is a fairly modest sized one. There's another one there that's even smaller. This might be getting up to a 2 kilo size fruit. But you imagine a 6 kilo fruit. That's how big they grow. And pomelo are typified by the, and you've got 2 different varieties I think on your tray, typified by fairly thick rind. Now I'm just opening the pale yellow sort of flesh. The larger one is the pink variety. And it doesn't matter which one you try first, but they're there to keep you amused for the next couple of minutes because they're nice and juicy. It's really yummy too. So whilst you're chewing away, because there's still plenty of people having a good old munch on those, your recollection of the smell is and how you would describe it, but typically described as like raw sewage or rotting flesh. You get the idea? And hence the ice cream a little bit on the nose. Yeah, not very popular.
To erase it off your palate.
Yeah. That's another way of putting it too. So where did you try that? I'm surprised someone's given you... And it's a bit like the flavour and juiciness of a green apple, that sort of thing. It is a fruit, its family is called Oxalidaceae. And Oxalidaceae reflects the fact that it's got oxalic acid as its acidic content. And oxalic acid you might find in things like rhubarb, cut up in half. The fruit here is this bright orange flesh. Now this one's got quite soft. And if you imagine an avocado, you buy it in the shop, it's still quite firm. They've been picked pretty firm. If they were picked fully ripe, they'd be like mush when you got to buy them, so it wouldn't sell. So the same sort of thing with this. You pick them when they're still quite firm. And our sort of test for that might be a little knife and just cutting just through the skin to see the orange flesh underneath. The flesh itself is a bit like an avocado. It's quite creamy, very rich. It's one of those fruit you don't really need a lot before you sort of think, oh, that's making me full, but I love the flavour. It's nice and sweet. Where are you guys from? Called black sapote or chocolate pudding fruit. So if you go to the ice cream shop, durians today, black sapote, ice cream tomorrow. This, when you open it up, this is still quite hard, so not ready to eat just yet. Open this up, and inside will be this dark brown, chocolatey brown, creamy textured fruit. And its common name is sort of chocolate pudding fruit for that reason. So not something I can give you to taste today, unfortunately. Yeah. A handful of different words or fruit with the name sapote attached, not necessarily related, but sapote is like saying fruit, but in the Central American sort of lingo. This is actually where your chocolate starts its life, in this. Don't know if there's... So you've got these portions here with the outer husk. Don't eat the husk, a bit woody. Probably okay if you were a bull or something like that. You're probably quite happy to eat it. But what I want you to do is try the sucking the white flesh off the seed. Hey? Oh, okay. So, because I need to use it anyway, if I just pull it apart, there you see these portions or these seeds with the white flesh around it. And what I want you to do is suck the white flesh off the seed. Don't throw the seed away though. Maybe bite into it. That, not the one that Maren's just brought out, but the one on the tray, that's a fruit called yellow mangosteen. Have we got a yellow mangosteen flying around? So the yellow mangosteen is a cousin to the purple mangosteen. The purple mangosteen, which I introduced, the dark purple skin with the white flesh inside, known as the queen of fruit. This is very much a poor cousin. So here's one in the flesh. The fruit is more like a mango in texture and juiciness perhaps, but quite tart, and not a patch on the purple. Having said that, not everybody's a sweet tooth like me. Many people actually quite like the yellow mangosteen. And I must say my favourite is actually making a jam from this, because you have that sort of tang. Sort of give you an idea. You know, it might be this sort of size, might even be that sort of size. But typically the ones we grow commercially, somewhere between 5 and 10 kilos in size. The fruit here, not immediately obvious in the picture, but there is a central core running through that fruit with these arils or segments around that. And in between the segments, maybe this section, little slightly paler yellow, that's what we call the rag. It doesn't necessarily eat all the rag. We could use it for cooking. And the other use for jackfruit, apart from eating it as a fresh fruit like this, is to make. We've got a couple on the table. So let's try the next one, which is this fruit here. It's a fruit from South America. It's called soursop. Soursop, cousin to the custard apple. Many of you probably know custard apple. Custard apple, family of soursop, in the family called Annona. And this fruit here, which I've got one cut open, that's what it looks like. So you only got one fruit left to try on your trays. It's pretty obvious which one that is. It's very different though in texture and flavour. In that Annona family, it's not a custard apple, it's not the soursop. This one here is called Rollinia, and it's probably my favourite of all these varieties. So I open it up. Somewhat similar looking flesh, but again, very different in texture to the soursop and indeed like custard apple. Now, I think I've lost my assistance.
I think we saw football fruit. Have you got that here? Football fruit.
Right, just.
We better wait.
We'll wait for the finish of the story.
Thank you.
Where did you come across it?
And Rusty's.
Rusty's.
Yeah.
Came from here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only reason I know that it came from here because we sent them down the other day.
Oh.
And now in Queensland this week, we're not talking about football, but unfortunately I have to, because this is a football fruit. For obvious reasons perhaps, a little bit of a slight misshapen football perhaps. And this is a fruit, its proper name is Pangia medulate, and I'd be interested, what was your...
We haven't eaten it.
You didn't eat it?
No, we saw it.
You saw it?
And it was labelled football fruit.
Yep.
That was it.
It is not well known about. And our market for this in Cairns, we don't sell this in the markets down south, but we get a lot of fruit off even only a handful of trees. And they're quite big, like this would be 3+ kilos. The fruit drops in quite large numbers, so if I don't send it away, it's great to get a little bit of extra cash and I send it down to Rusty's. Now for us, we've got to be a bit cautious because the seeds in this are actually quite toxic. Now, I talked about the soursop seeds as being toxic, but they're relatively small in number and you can deal with that. These are a lot bigger, and you'll see that in a sec, but don't worry about the seed. The skin on this is sort of toughish, as you can sort of tell. I'm having to use a bit of force. And I'll just prise it open. Anyone a brain surgeon? I don't know, so I don't think they do this in the surgery room, but anyway, I'll open it up. And inside.
That's exactly what they do.
Yeah. Maybe they use one of those little grinder things. And, fruit enthusiasts, but actually people who want the seeds because they want to grow them and possibly sell them. So we could sell the seeds for a couple of bucks a seed and make a lot more money than just selling it in the markets. But then people will buy it in the markets, they'll eat it and enjoy it, and then they'll grow the seeds and somewhere down there. And Just pull them out.
Thank you.
Yeah, a little bit like pineapple portions.
Smells like it.
I'm not going to figure out exactly which order we did them, but I think we had the carambola next. Let's just keep going. We had the yellow mangosteen. We had the cacao, where chocolate comes from. We had the mamey sapote. We had the soursop from the Inona family, followed by the Rollinia. We've had football fruit just at the end. And I have a feeling I've missed something, but there we go. We had the tea in the middle.
The, what do you call it, what is my favorite tree?
It's the tent tree.
Yeah.
I'm looking hard, I'm thinking there's nothing else to look at. But anyway, thank you. So those are the 10 fruit. Now, let's see what the time is. We're pretty much on spec. If you need to use the bathroom, just a reminder, through the middle of the house and on the back veranda. We're going to go for our walk in a minute, and we're going to go out on this gravel path, start our walk on the grass. So we'll start our walk in a couple of minutes. That's the neighbour's dog.
Oh, yeah.
Baz, go home. In the commercial... Oh, is that the best we can do? Okay. Oh, now she's... The orchard is fairly modest in terms of horticulture. If you go up to the tablelands, you'll see lots of mango farms, lychee farms, whatever. They're talking, you know, we say have 3,000 trees, roughly, give or take. So a typical mango farm's probably 30,000 trees, 60,000 trees. Purple mangosteen, they're usually a lot bigger than that. As I say, about the size of a mandarin. The fruit's been munched by something as well. But if you see a fruit looking like that, that's the purple mangosteen. So definitely worth. So there's actually come around this way a little bit, or the other side. You can see some fruit starting to grow. This particular variety, we start probably harvesting fruit off this in September, say. It's about 4 months from where to go. And typically they're growing from stems from the bough of the tree. Now this tree, my mother-in-law would have,
Oh, put it up there, okay.
she would have just got a length of succulent. I actually can't see too many on the yellow scale, but that's where we picked them from today, from this tree. They're quite prolific fruiters, but they don't all come up. Not too bad in terms of, it's almost what it looks like, except for it's underripe. But on the other side, you can see it's been chewed out. Basically, the cockatoos, they're trying to get to the seed. You know, if I felt that the cockatoos was just taking 1 or 2 fruit, munched out by the old cockatoos, this carambola or star fruit. So there's not much I pick off this tree at the moment. But we've got quite a few carambolas. And for us, because it's not a commercial crop, it's not something I worry about too much. And in fact, I much prefer them to go for the carambolas and leave my rambutans alone. I haven't quite trained them to do that. I've got a local lady who comes 2 days a week, mainly to do stuff with the hospitality, the B&B and the fruit tasting side of things. When we're picking fruit, this year we had a really bee. So these are beehives, Tilly, but they're not normal honeybees, they're native bees. And they're a bit like the size of a green ant, black in colour, and they're here really for the one purpose of pollination. They're a lot smaller than your typical honeybee. Than a honeybee, which is quite an aggressive feeder. We've got 4 of these banks of beehives. We did start off with about 80. We've had a few cannonball shape. This one's a much bigger, more elliptical shaped fruit. And I can't see, there's a bit of flowering actually up there. There's sporadic flowering. There's a fair bit of flowering on that one over there. And the reason I mention that, these fruit, pineapple actually, if you didn't know, pineapples take that long to grow. And I always wonder why pineapples are so cheap. Kaffir lime. So kaffir lime is very popular for making Thai curries. If I just pass this around, I'll just break it up into a few bits. but when you're making Thai curries and stuff, you might only use the leaf. Yeah, they're very slow growers in that sort of. It's not a massive producer, that particular tree, because of its location. But that's the Rollinia, that lovely lemon meringue pie fruit. I really don't think there are too many fruit left on, even manky looking things. The breadfruit and jackfruit. And we've got a couple of fruit varieties here that are relations to both of those. They're all in this Artocarpus family. This one with a slightly larger leaf is called a pedali. There were fruit, but I think most of them have dropped. They were a bit undersized this year because of the rain. And then on this one here, you can see there's a branch just there with a couple of fruit. One easily seen, one a little bit beyond it. They're called maroon. And they're a little bit like a jackfruit. There's one fruit up on that one. This again got a fairly heavy prune, so not much fruit this year. Oops.
Oh, yeah.
They look a bit like a coconut, but they're a farm from Africa called Barassus. And whilst they look somewhat similar, and they do have a husk that's quite fibrous, that fibre, unlike the coconut that Tilly was trying to pull apart, which is quite a dry husk with the big hard nut, newer trees that we've got. I haven't worried about the big trees. We've got a bit of mulching, lots of weeds and grass. We don't spray it. They're what we call someone from a curlew, thank you.
Oh,
A little bit different to your curlews in Scotland. Yeah. For some reason we've had three, they wander around the orchard, but there's only one family of three. And I've been on a journey trying different fruits. And yes, but enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Yeah, really good.
You learn a lot.
Pleasure.